The internet has probably been one of the most useful tools the world has ever seen. Contrary to what many believe, the internet wasn't invented in the same fashion as the light bulb. It didn't have one single creator, rather, it had many over the years. It had evolved. The beginning of this long process began well over 50 years ago and was used for government practices during the Cold War. Slowly but surely, improvements were made to help communication between scientists and government entities. In 1991, Tim Berners-Lee introduced the world to the World Wide Web. He used his technological skills to enable home computers to retrieve data from this already established intricate web of information. Building off of his work, in 1992, a team of students and researchers at the University of Illinois had built a complicated yet easy to use browser known as Netscape. This Netscape captured the attention of corporations across the globe to use it as a means of advertising for gain profit. Over time, web developers saw this as an opportunity to take. We introduced social media. Social media has enabled unprecedented communication since its release to the population. In this digital age, the use of the internet has seamlessly become ingrained into the daily fabric of our very lives. We access this information from our phone and naturally expect our screens to display our content without any failure as easily as we flip a light switch on and expect a light to come on. We are blissfully unaware of the complicated and intricate network and communications of signals and pulses of electrical charges that bring this construct to life. The unseen hand, so to speak. Every day we check our emails and direct messages, and we check Twitter and Facebook. TikTok has become a world famous video browser that has given truth to Andy Warhol's famous quote, "In the future, everyone will be famous for 15 minutes." Hence the phrase, 15 minutes of fame. The use of this quote captures the user's excitement to reference the present as some prosperous future. But is the present something to be all that excited about? Does the world we live in now seem to hold the title of victorious? Perhaps we have made many technological advances, but have we made advances in our social health? Social media is a wonderful tool to communicate with. It helps us stay in contact with our loved ones who live a long distance away. But there's a dark side to social media that we're all very much aware of but haven't really fully understood quite yet. These are awareness groups. Awareness groups are formed to make society aware that there's a major problem within our structure. And some of them range from feminist movements to indigenous peoples movements, labor's movements and LGBTQ movements, and many others who have all been treated very poorly and unfair. Google has an extraordinary list of many social movements from cultures and walks of life, and people seem to be making an attempt to bring the world to peace. Different groups of people have formed movements that are small, comparatively speaking, to the rest of the population. And if you look at this list, you can almost interpret these social movements as symptoms of society's brain. Once we get a diagnosis from the doctor will generally provide us with a remedy for our condition, but no cure. The best remedy we have now is treatments to the symptoms, because the cause is not found. Each social movement in this case represents a symptom of a much bigger problem. And when the movement gets what it wants, we are only treating the symptoms, which will eventually no longer work, and a new temporary solution will urgently need found. But why is this? Why are people so urgently frustrated to the point where they must form protest groups and go as far as to destroy property? It's because their voices are not heard. They are not taken seriously enough. Shouldn't social media be a powerful enough tool to convey a message across the world that love is owed to a particular group of people? You would think social media would work. You would think social media would be the proper tool for this. But to use a tool properly, the user must be in a healthy state of mind. And not all of us are in a healthy state of mind at the moment. What does it take to understand someone else's plight? It takes time to reflect and gain a better understanding of somebody else's struggle, to truly grasp what it is that they're going through and understand what they need and what they've been missing all along. In this day and age, social media has become almost useless in its effectiveness to convey a strong and moving message for those who are struggling. But why is this? Why isn't the tool that's used to enhance the power of communication failing us all? It's because the message is not making a proper impact. But why? Well, we scroll our timeline with a purpose. We swipe continuously in search of what interests us, like anticipation of entertainment. We certainly wouldn't pick our phone up in search of something that brings us discomfort. We're in search of something that brings us pleasure, to feel the dopamine. And dopamine is a neurotransmitter made in the brain. Essentially, it acts like a messenger between the neurons. This chemical is released in your brain when your brain is expecting a reward. And when you come to associate a certain activity with pleasure, the anticipation can be enough to raise the dopamine levels. This is the same effect drug users experience when they're actively using their drug of choice. Like dope, for example. Obviously short and slang for dopamine, dope nonetheless. Nothing seems to interest an addict more than the drug that they're addicted to. When we scroll through our timeline, we become addicted to the pleasure of what we find appealing to us. Anything else is merely in our way. Upon approach to an important message like this one, for example, most people will simply scroll past it, and it is lost in the collective web that is the internet, doomed to be forgotten and lost with trillions of bits of deleted information. When we exit this elusive world of social media, we seem to have forgotten all that we've feasted our eyes on. Nothing had made an impact, and nothing had changed us in one way, shape, or form. It was as if it didn't happen at all. Now people are looking at us, people are talking to us, and we're completely unaware of the question we were just asked. Kind of like a digital hallucination. And hallucinations are not real. These social movements usually have groups on different platforms with the purpose of conveying a message, but these platforms only exist in this realm of hallucination. Occasionally, one will make enough of an impact for us to come back to real life to tell a story about, but the passion for the cause is never there. And how do you convey a message of anything to a drug addict? Well, you can't until they become sober from their habits and take life seriously again. Now, these social movements are true and they are real. All the things that they are feeling are valid, and they have been mistreated and poorly handled. What these people are after is the same thing we are all after. They are in search of love. What we all want is to be treated with patience, kindness, to be forgived and have understanding. We all need this for the world to become a better place. That world could be a possibility. But the only way for the world to become a better home is for our home to become a better world. So we must seek wisdom from somewhere and learn what love truly is and apply it every day, every chance you get.